Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about conversational skills, and in particular we're going to talk about the language you need to make plans. So first thing, let's look at a conversation between two people who are trying to make plans. So we have Jill, and Jill says, "Hey Harry, I was thinking about going to Pasta Mario's for lunch. Want to come with me?" Harry says, "I'm allergic to pasta. Could we go somewhere else?" "Sure. Does the sandwich shop on Washington sound good?" "I ate there yesterday. What about the pizza place?" "Oh, that works for me." "Great, let's head over." So in this conversation, there are three main things that happen. What do you think happens at the beginning of the conversation? What happens in the middle? And what happens at the end? Okay, so at the beginning of the conversation, we have the invitation. Jill asks Harry, "Do you want to come to lunch with me?" She makes a suggestion and invites him. In the second part of the conversation, the two people negotiate the details. So that might include some refusal, but more suggestions. And that's so they can choose a place. In this case, they've decided we can't go to Pasta Mario's, we can't go to the sandwich shop, so the place we're going to go to is the pizza place. Okay, so they already decided it was for lunch, and we knew it was happening immediately, so we already had the when. So in negotiating the details, we're talking about when, where, so those sorts of things. Maybe with who. Then the third part is the acceptance or refusal of the plan. And in this case, they both accept. They say, Jill says, "That works for me." And Harry says, "Great, let's head over. Let's go there." Okay. So those are the three main parts of a conversation where people are trying to make plans. Now, sometimes it's a little bit cyclical, meaning that there might be refusal in the negotiation and coming up with more plans before we get to the acceptance. All right. So now let's talk about some different types of language that can be used for each of the different parts of the conversation. So in part one, the invitation, we have a few different phrases you could use. "Would you like to join me for?" "We're planning to go to dinner this weekend. We'd appreciate your company." "Would you care to meet us for dinner later?" "I was wondering if you would like to go camping next weekend." "Are you doing anything on Friday?" I want to point out this one, the "are you doing anything on Friday?" In North American English, oftentimes people will ask, "Are you busy?" before they make the invitation. And that gives the other person the option to say whether or not they're busy. And it's a way for North American English speakers, to save face a little bit. Okay? So we wouldn't have to make the invitation if we know the other person is busy. Or we can change the way we state the invitation. So for example, I might say, "Are you doing anything on Friday?" And then the other person says, "No." "Well, why? What do you have planned?" "Oh, well, I was going to ask if you wanted to go to the movies with me." Okay, so then that's the invitation. On the other hand, you could say, "Are you doing anything on Friday?" And the other person says, "Yeah, actually, I was planning to go to dinner with Kyle." And then you say, "Oh, okay, well, have fun. I was going to see if you wanted to go to a movie, but have fun." And that's okay. Or you wouldn't even have to say that. You say, "Oh, okay, have fun with Kyle." Okay, other ways you could invite. You could say, "I think I'm going to go to I think I'm going to go to dinner on Friday. You want to come with me?" Or, "I'm planning on going to the library on Saturday to study. Do you want to come too?" So those are all ways to make invitations. Can you think about which of these invitations is the most formal? Which of these invitations do you think is less formal? That's right. The first four these are a little bit more formal. The other ones are more informal. Um, so in part two, when we negotiate the details, That's usually where we say if it's going to work or not, and then keep the conversation going. So for example, that time isn't very convenient for me. Is there another time that will work? So we say our position, but then we can make another suggestion. That isn't my first choice. Are there any other options? You can simply agree, oh, that would be ideal. And then the next person can say, great, and give more information. Like, that would be ideal. Great. Well, why don't you meet me at my house at 7 p.m.? Sounds good. I'll see you then. Or you can just simply say, that'd be great. Or, I don't like pizza. What else could we eat? I think that's doable. And then you keep going with the conversation after that. Then, of course, part 3, one option is to accept the plan. After you've done the negotiation, you figured out the schedule, you figured out where you're going to go, you figured out who you're inviting, then you can accept it. So you can say, I'd be happy to join you. We plan to be there. It would be my pleasure. Thanks for the invitation. We'll be there. Great. Count me in. Sounds good. Sure. So again, which of these do you think is most formal? Which ones do you think are less formal? Of course, if you cannot accept the plan, what you don't want to do is just say no. We will never just say no. We'll always do it in a little bit more polite way. So one way we could say is, I'm afraid I have other plans and I won't be able to attend. That's very formal. We won't be able to join you this time, but please keep this in mind next time. Again, that's very formal. We could say, oh, I'm too busy right now, sorry. Or I'm really tied up this week. Sorry, I can't do it this week. If you say those things, you could follow up with saying, can I get a rain check? That means, can I do it another time? Or you could just say, maybe some other time. Or you could make a suggestion to do it at another time. So again, often in North American culture, when we refuse a plan, we make an excuse. So we'll say, I'm too busy right now. Or I'm sorry, but I have other plans. Can we do it another time? And if you want to signal to the other person that you're happy for the invitation and you would like another invitation in the future, then you can say something like, oh, could we do it next weekend? So make another suggestion. That lets them know that you're open to doing whatever it is they suggested, just at another time. Okay? But if you're not interested, you can just say, sorry, I'm busy at that time, and leave it at that. That's okay. All right, so now it's your turn. Complete this conversation. Great. So I think that should give you an idea of how you can make plans and some different language that you can use to make plans.